The Average American Diet. It's big, it's cheap, and it's everywhere. And although the prevalence of various healthy diets and exercise routines have exploded in recent years, so has the massive selection of sugar-filled, processed foods, widening an extreme gap of choices all across the board. Today, two buff dudes will revisit their childhood diet so you don't have to. Wish them luck. The average American diet.
What is the average American diet?
That's an excellent question. The United States is a big place, so depending on where you were raised, it can mean different things to different people.
Whether you're from Miami,
New York,
the Midwest,
or Los Angeles. But overall, here are the foods you're gonna find at any grocery store within the country.
and we're gonna be trying them out.
For better or for worse. Science Daily on the American diet. Highly processed foods make up more than 60% of the calories in food we buy. I'm just gonna guess that has a lot of sugar.
Nothing more American than Sour Patch Kids cereal.
This is the most American cereal I've ever seen in my life. The first ingredient is sugar. I myself have done it many times. I know I could do it again. I could eat this thing in one sitting. That would be 1,400 calories and 130 grams of sugar. That's just on breakfast. That's not even including the milk that you're gonna have to go along with it. So that's a lot of calories to start your day.
Most of this is geared towards kids. Very kid friendly, and I don't think that's really a good way to teach kids or start out their nutritional journey.
A lot of times as a kid, you're not buying the cereal for what it is. You're buying it for what character is endorsing it. So, hey, this is Frozen 2 cereal. I don't care if it's 150 grams of sugar. I want it because the non-Elsa brown hair girl's on it. So a lot of times it's all about convenience, and it doesn't really get more convenient than Pop-Tarts. You can have them in just a few moments, and they're not exactly the most nutritional food out there. Again, if you're just going by taste, they taste pretty damn good. So we're gonna grab some of those. A lot of things in America, the bigger the better. As you can see, this is 50% larger, and these ingredients, that list is about as long as a phone book. That's gonna take a while to read exactly what is in this thing. Thankfully, it doesn't take nearly as long to microwave, and you're gonna be having a hell of a lot of calories in the process.
Wow, look at that. On clearance, cheap, 87 cents. It only takes 2 minutes to make. Again, a very long list of ingredients. It's usually something we would have went for at a younger age just because it's so easy and it's so cheap too.
Okay, this is bringing back huge memories. I did construction in my early 20s, and it was all about convenience. You wake up at 6 a.m., you don't got a lot of time, so I would grab one of these. Of course, I would see that it said protein, so I thought, well, it's protein, it's gotta be good, right? Neglecting the fact that it had 45 grams of carbs, and a big chunk of that is sugar. It's 38 grams of sugar just in this little tiny thing right here. Sometimes I would have 2 a day, and it all adds up. So I'm gonna grab one of these things and let the nostalgia flow through me, and the overabundance of sugars.
And it is funny to look back on it, how many calories just one of these have. 290 calories per bottle. I mean, usually you'd have like a 6-pack of it or get a 2-liter, and you would drink just the stuff all day, and you just have an amazing amount of calories, but also pretty much it's just pure sugar. This thing has 77 grams of sugar.
I feel like we took it pretty light too. We didn't really go crazy. I mean, there was pastries, there was candy, there was a lot of different variety, a lot of variety of things to buy. I mean, you go to any grocery store now, and it is surprising how much stuff you can buy.
It is, and thankfully now more than ever, they have a lot of healthy options as well. But sometimes they're more expensive, so naturally you gravitate towards the more cheaper items, which is what we did today. The U.S. Department of Agriculture on the American diet. The average American eats or drinks more than 100 pounds of sugar a year. Just got done with breakfast. It started getting me thinking about something. And that is, a lot of times when you eat something, it's gonna be out of sight, out of mind. You have it, but you don't really know what's in it. I mean, yes, there's nutritional facts, there's ingredients, but you know, it's hard to make a connection on how much you're actually having. So what I did is I weighed out some sugar, and I did 3 different sizes of a popular soda brand, and we're gonna see how much sugar is actually in these different sizes here. So the first size, it's gonna contain 77 grams of sugar, and as you can see, that is quite a bit. The next size up is the 1 liter, and measured it out, and it is 130 grams of sugar right here. And then we got the 2 liter, which is 276 grams of sugar, and that almost filled the glass to the top. And that's pretty insane when you think about it, because I know myself, I can easily finish a 2 liter of soda in a day. I did when I was a kid, and just looking at this now, I gotta say, wow. I don't think anyone in the right mind would dump this much sugar and just have it throughout the day knowingly. And of course, this is going to be on top of everything else. You know, like you have a big box of cereal, you have Pop-Tarts, you have anything, donuts, they're all just packed full of sugar. And I think that's one thing about the American diet that I have to say seems pretty dangerous. And once you put it in perspective, I think it's pretty enlightening as well.
The National Center for Health Statistics on the American diet. 1 in 3 adults consume fast food on a given day.
Now this wouldn't be an average American diet without going to some fast food. So we're gonna be picking a popular fast food chain and ordering the average size American portion, which also happens to be a Buff Dude size portion. So it works out pretty good.
Hi, I can help you when you're ready.
Yeah, so we will get 4 double-decker tacos and 6 crunchy tacos.
Regular or supreme?
I'll get it supreme, please. For me, Taco Bell brings back a lot of memories. When I was younger, I would work nights. I would get off at about 3 in the morning, and on my way home, the last thing I felt like doing was cooking a big meal. So I'd run by Taco Bell, I'd grab 4 double-decker tacos, and to kind of feel a little better about myself, I'd always get a large diet drink. Having all of that right before bed,
Not a good combination.
no. For my stomach or the toilet the next day.
Health.gov on the American diet. Most Americans exceed the recommendations for added sugars, saturated fats, and sodium.
Now it's time for some snacks. You'll see the sugar content is extremely high on both of these. I mean, when me and Hudson were growing up, of course, we had a lot of these kind of snacks, and we would usually sit down and play video games for hours. And in the meantime, we would be downing soda like it's nobody's business. Both of us are pretty fast drinkers. And when you kind of start doing the math, when you think about each 12-ounce can of soda has over 50 grams of sugar, well, that adds up pretty damn quick. And that's hundreds of grams of sugar each day, and that's not even counting the caffeine in each can of soda. So it's basically like crack for a kid. And of course, the more you have, the more you crave, because sugar is very addictive. It's a fresh reminder of the effects. You get that sugar high, and immediately after you have one, you want another one. But I'm gonna try to hold back a little bit, because I feel like now that I'm a little bit older, I probably couldn't handle it. I might even throw up. So I mean, it's a stark reminder of the difference about being a kid and an adult. But I think it just goes to show you that kids need to be aware of this too, because in the long run, it is very unhealthy.
The IFIC Foundation on the American diet. More than 1 in 3 U.S. consumers are following a specific diet or eating pattern, and they are increasingly averse to carbohydrates and sugar.
A big problem for me growing up was using a lot of this food as a comfort. Of course, it's really good. It's not that satiating, so you can continue to eat it, and I would lean on it from time to time as a crutch. Of course, then you get used to your favorite meals, maybe your favorite fast food, and that's a crazy thing, because any town you go in throughout the country, and even now parts of the world, it's very comforting to see that sign because it's familiarity. If you're seeing maybe like Joe's Diner, you don't really know what that food's gonna taste like. But whereas if you see a popular fast food chain, you know what's on the menu, you know what it's gonna taste like, and you just go to it time and time again. And that can be, at least for me, a bad thing, because I had a lot of sugar in my diet, I struggled with my weight, and when I began to do things like moderate my sugar, finally taking a look at what I was eating, that really helped me out a lot. So I can still have it from time to time, but now I'm just a little bit more educated onto what I'm putting into my body.
Health.gov on the American diet. Only 20% of adults meet the physical activity guidelines for aerobic and muscle strengthening activity.
I have to admit, I'm very happy we are working out. I couldn't imagine eating like this and just sitting on the couch.
It's how we deal with our guilt.
That is true. The Church of Iron, they're not lying.
Big mistake I made growing up, especially when my diet wasn't quite in order, was that I thought I could outrun it by working out really hard, and it turns out it didn't really work out the way that I wished it would. And the craziest thing is once I got my eating in order, I noticed huge gains in not only my physique, but also in my strength levels and just generally how I was feeling. I was less fatigued, I had more energy in the gym, and it helped me to become the buff dude that I am today.
So we just finished the workout, an hour long, and we probably only burned around 500 calories.
That seems like a lot until you take into account that it only took us about 2 minutes to eat 500 calories and it's taken us 60 minutes to burn that off. So it's really easy to consume a lot, especially in the form of like liquid calories with some sugary coffee drinks.
I mean, breakfast, I had 1,400 calories in cereal.
Jesus Christ, you're a madman.
I know.
CDC.gov on the American diet. From 1999 to 2000 through 2017 to 2018, the prevalence of obesity increased from 30.5% to 42.4%, and the prevalence of severe obesity increased from 4.7% to 9.2%.
So when Hudson and I were growing up, our parents both had jobs, and we'd have corn dogs, we'd have frozen pizza, and it is very cheap and it's very easy to make. You pretty much just stick it in the oven or the microwave and you're good to go. Tastes good, it's easy, again, it's cheap, and it's just, that's one of those things that I feel like is kind of the ongoing theme of this video is cheap, easy, and convenient. It's just one thing that once you kind of get out of eating like that, you start eating like that again, and it doesn't taste as good as I remember being a kid. I actually have to wear Depends right now because I'm actually shitting as we speak. That's how bad it's become. And I don't know if that's because I'm older or because of the food. So that wraps up the average American diet, and I have to say it was a pretty interesting experiment of sugar, caffeine, fat, and God knows what else. But the great thing is there's also a lot of healthy choices that continue to grow in the market, which is awesome. You've got some alternatives to sugar. You have, of course, a lot of different diet movements like paleo and vegan, so that's great. But I think one thing, especially with America, it can be a country of extremes. So you have the extremely healthy people and you have the extremely unhealthy people. And I think the older we get, the more that we value moderation. Try to stick with single ingredients. That's gonna be the most healthiest and the easiest way to go about any kind of eating. And you always know what you're putting in your body. For the most part, it's gonna be a lot easier to control your calories and your macros that way. You're kind of able to enjoy both worlds, but you never stray too far to either one. So yeah, I have to say, I won't be returning to the average American diet anytime soon.
America!